Hey everyone, welcome to our very first live in a new series we're calling US Spiritist Movement in Action. This new series will be highlighting different events and programs happening right here in the US. This series will be happening occasionally in place of our usual Saturday lives, so stay tuned to our newsletters, our website, our Instagram to find out when these will be happening. My name is Bia, and I am the Family, Youth, and Children Spiritist Education Director of the United States Spiritist Federation. I am so excited to be with you here today to talk about an event that is so near and dear to my heart, the US Spiritist Youth Retreat. 10 years ago, when I was a teenager, I had the privilege to be able to attend the very first Spiritist Youth Retreat in the US, and since then, I've gone to every single one, and it never fails to be my most favorite event of the year. Before I introduce you to some amazing panelists that are going to tell you all about where the youth retreat started, how it's come along, what's happening this year and future years, I would like to play a little introduction video to give you all a taste of what the retreat is like. I love watching that video because it brings back so many memories of how much fun it is. It looks a ton of fun, and that's exactly how it is. It's filled with spiritist, personal development, and so much fun and connection. It's really, truly one of the best events, and I can't wait to tell you all more about it today. So, without further ado, I'd first like to introduce you to Cristina and Naja, Cristina Cabral and Naja Matar-Went from the Allan Kardec Spiritist Center of Danbury, who were the masterminds behind this, who continue to be the masterminds, who started off our very first retreat and have taken this retreat to so many new levels as it continues to grow and expand. So we're so excited to have them here to share how it's been for all these years. And I'm also so excited to introduce Maria Zago and Vicky Dutra, who have participated as youth, as young adults themselves, and now come back as youth educators, as leaders, and my peers, and I love them, and I've always had a blast attending with them. So I'm so excited that they'll also be here to share some of the youth perspective as well from the event. So welcome all to this panel. I'm so excited to have you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you for the invitation, Bia.
Thank you. So to start us off, I was hoping, Cristina and Naja, if you could start us off with, what is the youth retreat? How did it start? Where did this idea come from?
You can go ahead, Cristina.
The Spiritist Youth Retreat is a 3 days event for teens and young adults. And the purpose of this retreat is to connect teens. I think we're going to go a little over the history of the event a little further. But The event is an opportunity for teens to connect while they are also practicing Jesus' teachings and learning Spiritism. So it is actually is the youth movement in the U.S. It started very small, just in our area, but has been growing throughout these years.
Yeah, I would like to, I think Chania said it all, but I think the main goal really is there is no learning that can happen without love pathing the way. So that's why we are kind of building this opportunity to really strengthen the bonds of love so that the Spiritist doctrine and the gospel of Jesus can find good soil um, for it to flourish and bloom. And I think we are seeing the bloom by seeing your faces here, especially Bia, Victoria, and Maria are the blooms, actually.
Yeah, and the Spiritism is very new in the U.S. It's not like as it is in Brazil. So we have Spiritist centers spread throughout the country, but we were not connected before. So no one knew. The teens used to say to us, it's like, this is my parents' religion. So what is the Spiritism? My friends don't know anything about it. And they felt a little isolated. So this event also brings them together, so they get to know each other and understand that is they're not alone, that there's someone else that thinks like them, that have the same beliefs and values, and this is amazing. So they see there are more people that think alike.
Yeah, absolutely. I can totally relate to that. In the town that I grew up in, I did not have anyone that I knew that was Spiritist. And when I went to the Spiritist Center, that was my only connection with Spiritist youth. And so seeing it grow and then connecting with more and more, and now almost 100 Spiritist youth, young adults that are coming to this, it's so awesome. And you feel that connection where it can feel isolating.
Yeah.
And so, Chania and Najat, could you tell us a little bit about the first retreat and what that was like and how we've come from that?
Well, it wasn't a plan like, oh, this is going to be a retreat, right? So it was more like very informal. And I think the main goal was that we wanted to have actually the seed of it is the connection. And we wanted to connect two groups that were going to be together the next year at the Spiritist Center. So it was like kind of the pre-teens going to teens and the teens that were there already. So we said, let's try to get something for them to get engaged and get to know each other and like each other so that so preparing for next year. And we started like looking for activities that would encourage or spark the type of feeling of team, right? So we started like looking for team building activities, and we were so blessed because the one that we found in Hartford, Connecticut, we had like facilitators that were so amazing and had that spirituality, even though like it wasn't really like a spiritist retreat then, but still they were so spiritual and made the activities have such a meaningful impact on the teens. And I think you can relate to that, Bia. I don't know if you can remember that far, but so that was like the start of it. And after that, we couldn't think of not doing that the next year. So we already start planning that year for the next year. So Chini, would you like to add something?
Yeah, I was just thinking about this today, and I was thinking how Jesus plans is so perfect. So we had no intention to become an event, not even like a local event, not even a national event. But as Nadia said, our only goal at that moment was to make connection. But that was so good. So we thought about, wow, this was amazing. We could go camp out next year. So the next year, the following year, we just went into the woods, you know, literally in the woods. So we camp out, and we thought it was just as amazing as the previous year, as even better. And then we started inviting other states, other spirit center, because the kids had so much fun, and we realized, oh, this is working. Let's invite more people. So the following year, the second year, we went, we camped out in the woods, and then that was amazing. They had to cook their own food and carry everything into the, like, walk a mile into the woods. But then we're like, okay, this was nice, but next year maybe we can rent a facility that has a dorm. So, and then, we're going to a better place, they're more comfortable. So we started inviting New Jersey, and then came Massachusetts, and one by one, New York, Maryland. And so one by one, the states were included, and we started to grow. But, looking back, I think, like, Jesus is not in a hurry. Jesus is patient. So, and he knows where he wants to take us. We don't know, but he knows. And so he just brings an inspiration. And for those who can listen to this inspiration, it starts something. And we are not alone. We have the spiritual support, and we have the mind and the hearts and hands of many people there are gathering with us and supporting this event. We can no longer say it's me and Nadia. It's like, we can't even name so many people. So this became like our event. It's not just two people thinking. It's all these beautiful minds that are here, and many others.
Yeah.
Actually, I must emphasize what we just said. It started, the beauty of it was like team, based on a team. And today we see that team much larger. And the event depends on this team. So it's not like 2, not 3, not 4. It is like a team that is growing. And the more and the more we depend on this team to work together and think together, so that it continues to be great. It can't be like with just a few people.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen this event grow, and I remember that one where we camped in the woods, and to see where we are now, it's really amazing. But speaking of when we first started to bring other centers into something that was just one Spiritist center and then it growing, Maria, I think, was part of the first Spiritist center in New Jersey that we invited to come join us. So Maria, what was your experience? How did you get started in the youth retreat?
Yeah, absolutely. So we were my Spiritist center. We were the first group out of state that got invited. So, and this was 2016. So just like Bia, that was my first retreat, and I have been going back ever since. And my mom is very close with Chini and Nadia, and saw the pictures and was like, wow, my teens need to do something like this. And, that's basically where it all began. And I'm so thankful that year, Chini and Nadia were like, yeah, come on, like, come with us. And it was in a very cool facility, Channel 3. I still remember that place. And yeah, we were, I guess, the first outsiders, the first special guests. And it was like crazy to think how small this event used to be. We were all in the same building. It was like girls in that room, boys in that room. That's it.
Yeah. And from that moment, it's been so nice I remember that first moment. It was a little, awkward for the teams from different centers to meet. Yeah. And now when you get to the retreat, they instantly connect.
You're running
with
up
so
to
many
one
different
another. Yes.
states. Yeah.
Yes.
Vicky, what about you? When was your first retreat, and how did you get involved?
Yeah. So I think for my center's first retreat, that might have been 2018. I was not part of that group that went. My first one was in 2019, if I'm not mistaken. And it was the first year that I was actually teaching the teens class. And so as the educator there, I was like, of course I'll go. Immediately met Chania and Naja and was like, well, okay, I'm staying here forever. That's cool. And participated from then on, including, I feel like a lot of us like skip over a few years there, but we had a virtual youth retreat that wasn't quite to the extent of the normal one that we all love, but I participated in that one too. And then my involvement in it has just, I feel like, continuously grown, which I'm so grateful and like happy to be a part of. And so I kind of love seeing a little bit of the back end too, of like all the planning that happens. It's really fun to see that. And it's always an event that I'm like super excited to take my teens to. And like, I prep them like day one. They come into my classroom and I'm like, you guys got to get ready. We're leading up to this like wonderful thing, and you know, all the fundraisers and stuff. It's a really great opportunity, and it allows our center to connect a lot of what's been said already. But it's huge. I think the word I'd put it is community, and it's really building a community. And I would even say not only for the teens, but for the educators too, because now I have like a network of educators that I can constantly reach out to and just be like, hey, any ideas or like any thoughts on this or that. And so it's a really great way to have my kids connect with others, but also me and other educators connect with each other.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I remember the COVID virtual one. We pivoted real quick, but it worked out so nice, even virtual. And yeah, but we were really glad to be back in person. And Vicky, yeah, your leadership has grown in the retreat, and we're so happy to have you. So Maria, maybe I'll turn it back to you. How would you describe, and then we can pass it to anyone else if they want to add, how would you describe the structure and the format of the retreat? Like, what is a typical day of the retreat like?
Okay, so I thought about this when you say that, because I've seen the event when it was smaller and where it is now. Something that a lot of people don't know is that it used to be a 2-day event, and it was like so packed, and really we realized, well, I don't think there's enough time to do everything. It's so cramped, or to even fully develop the theme in 2 days. And now we have a third day also. So I would say day one is always the longest day because it's arrival day, but it is, you get there and it's this wave of, oh my gosh, like all my friends. And I think day one is a lot more like thematic activities, or at least it has been in the past. What else? And then the second day, which would be Sunday, is more creative activities. We have creative workshops. And then sprinkled in there are activities from the camp staff, from the facility that we're staying at. A lot of team bonding. And then, you know, you've got your lunch in there, you've got your meals in there, and then you go back to the dorm and you get to debrief with everyone. So it's a very, honestly, like camp experience.
Yeah, totally. I love that. Anything else that anyone would add on that?
I'll jump in and I'll say that I think there's a really nice mix from the ones that I've attended. The structure has been constantly like changing, but like improving based on feedback, and kind of like we've had different facilities, and so like we mold it to the venue as well. But I would say it's a really nice balance of like the natural friendship bonding. So like this, like more, there is definitely like a social component, which is really nice because it allows them to just have that natural connection, with a lot of like, it's very activity based on the Spiritist side. So like there's always these like very like meaningful and like very planned out, thought out activities to get the point across. And there's always a theme. Every year there's a theme. And so all of the activities and things that we do tend to be surrounding that theme.
Yeah. And I love what you said about that sense of like community and that gathering. Because, right, there's team building, there's personal development, there's that Spiritism teaching, very involved there as well. But there is that big sense of community. So, Shania and Ajay, I was wondering if you could share, how do you create and foster this sense of community between the teens, and also, you know, teens coming from different states and meeting each other for the first time?
Well, if I can start, Tinia, like I feel that this starts actually with, like Victoria said, it kind of starts with the leadership. So as we work together with the other centers, and again, the philosophy is really to have everyone play a part. So we start connecting. So in that way, it seems like it transfers to the youth, in that sense that they feel our connection. So they feel that we are family. That's the impression that I have. I think like we look at everyone like it's our kids. It's not my kid from my center. It's our kids. So everything, when we talk about them, it's ours. It's our event. So I think this is how it starts. I don't know, like Chini, would like to add any
Yeah,
component?
and you said it well, and I just like to add that that is a place where they can feel safe and be themselves. So this is a plays an important role in this event. It's like, be yourself. We're not here to judge you. We are here to um, embrace the diversity. We are here to support you. And there is a sense of family. And we see on the last day a lot of people crying. And we heard from many teams like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go back to, what is out there. I feel safe here. And that, that is really touching. And that's when we know, we're doing something right.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, to that point of it's a safe space, I think one thing that helps so much is a little detail there that all the teens always cringe at a little bit, is that the phones get taken away. They get put away for the event. And there's always some hesitation to do that, right? In this day and age, everyone is so connected to their phone, so attached to social media, to the world out there. But in this 3-day retreat, the phones are put away, and very nicely in a box. The chaperones do have phones for any emergencies, but with the teens not having their phones, and they all kind of hesitate, they want to hide it, they want to try and keep it somehow. But after they become friends, I think that to me is one of the things that connects them the most, because they're there and now we have to connect to each other. And like you're saying, it's a safe space. They don't have that outside world influence that we're constantly getting from all corners because we have our phone. And you should see at the end, when we give back the phones, they're like, it's okay, I don't really need that anymore. They're not even worried about the phone because they've just had so much fun. With their friends, meeting new friends, and being in that safe space. So something that seems a little, harsh for the first people coming for the first time, it really makes a difference in the event. So we've heard a little bit from everyone. I'd like everyone to answer this question. What do you think makes this retreat, this Spiritist retreat, so unique and special, and for all the youth involved and the chaperones as well?
I'll start if that's okay.
Yeah.
I think for me, like, again, personally, in my experience, growing up and even now, all of the Spiritist events I see here in the US are for adults or for workers. And the same thing Chininga said, to me, it was always like, oh, well, my parents go, I go. Like, or again, the only people I knew that were Spiritists were there, like nobody at school, and this event celebrates the teens, celebrates the youth. Like, and when you think about it, that is so important. They are the future. Why are we not celebrating them? Like, so it's unique in that sense because from what I have seen, it's the only one of its kind where it is youth-centered, it's teen-centered, everybody working involved, chaperone staff, they're educators as well. They, you know, they know what they're doing. So yeah, it's unique in the sense that it's catered to the teens. And another thing I want to add is that it's outdoors, because you do have your, you know, your event at your Spiritist Center, the family event, or, you know, the movie night. And it's always indoors, and it's always an afternoon, and you go home after. So these two components, the outdoor component and the overnight component, really make it that kids turn into best friends in 2 days.
Yeah, totally.
So it's unique. Like,
it is so awesome. Yeah.
I can jump in next. I think Maria took most of what I was going to say. But I think from the perspective of one, it being a Spiritist event, which, as Tina already had mentioned, it's so like rare in the United States as a whole. As Maria said, it's a place dedicated to teens, like strictly that's who we're there for, and that's who we're catering, and that's who we're celebrating. And I think also, to another point that Chinia had made earlier, it's a safe space. It's a really amazing environment that allows people to be themselves, allows them to be vulnerable, and allows them to make friends that connect on so many different levels. Another thing that I thought of as I was thinking about this question was, there is the event itself, which is such an incredible thing, but there's so much that leads up to it as well. This is one of the only events, at least in my center, I don't know about other ones as well, but in our center, it's one of the few ones that we actually do like fundraisers for. And really, like, for me, like, I'm very honest with my kids. I'm like, you are working, you are going, you are having people help pay for this trip. You are working, like, that's it. And we just had a fundraiser recently, and like, it filled my heart to watch all of my kids, even ones that were not going on the trip, come together and help set up, clean up, like do everything. We had a lunch and they were serving food, they were cleaning. Like, it was amazing to watch them put this work into something that's building into this like really amazing event that we get to be a part of. So like, that for me is something that stands out every year. There's like so much that goes into it, along with the amazing 3 days that we get.
Yeah, and one other thing I like to say is that there's not a passive participant. Everyone is engaged in something. So even the educators, they're coming, either they are chaperones or they are helping with the security team or the spiritual support team, or they are facilitating something. And all the young adults, they help us creating the program. They also facilitate. Bia hosts the event. This year she's hosting with Gustavo, also from Massachusetts, like Vicky. And so there's so many things going on, and everybody is part of it. There's not one person that just is standing there and not having a part in this event. And this is so special to see, and people get excited. So, from Canada, from Florida, they and it's one thing that leads, so it's the cherry on top of the cake for the teens. So as Vicky said, day one, you tell them, hey, this is what we planned for this year. And so at the end of this year, we're going to go to the Spiritist Youth Retreat. And now one person goes and comes back and tells their friends. And now the next year, a bigger group comes and they all want to come. So in our Spiritist Center, the preteens, they see the teens going on this trip and they're like, when is my turn? When is it going to be my turn? So it also motivates the youth to participate in the Spiritist Center. And this is awesome.
I think you guys said it all, but I would like to add one thing, which kind of you said in different words, but the event is not only for them, but for them to enjoy, but also we try to give them an opportunity to be leaders, because sometimes that opportunity doesn't exist too much in our spiritist centers. So you're just a teen, so you're a participant, but there, especially Bia does her list and try to invite some of them a little bit older, not much older. Like I think we had like 15, 16 that, maybe there is an activity or, a task that they can kind of coordinate. And I think that makes them feel part of it. It's like you are also in control. It's just, you are not a passive participant that receives, but also you can give. And I think these also make this a special event for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. And I'm just getting excited for this year, thinking about all of these pieces of it again. And one thing I would also mention, which Nadja, you mentioned a little bit, is about the age. So the age to go is 13 and up. But what's been really unique is that over the years, we've developed a really strong young adult. So a group of young adults that are in their 20s. And that has been really awesome because now that's grown. And usually in the Spiritist movement, that phase of young adult is a very important phase to prioritize, which is also often not prioritized because there's the youth education in the center until usually 18, until they go away to college or wherever they're doing next. And then there's the adults. And there's not really that in-between phase for these young adults to come together. And so it's been really awesome that it started off very teen-based, but now it's expanded to this young adult community. And I think now we have, I think you guys can correct me, but 60 or so under 20 and then 28, right? Or 25, something like that, above 20, like the 20 to 30 range. So it's really awesome to have that young adult space, and they have just as much fun as the 13-year-olds are having and everything in between. So that's been really awesome to see grow.
Yeah, it's 70.
70.
Below 19 and under.
Wow.
But Bia, that's, I think it's one of the facts that I enjoy the most to witness is actually this age group, which is kind of forgotten. Actually just met a couple, really cute couple in their 22s or 21. And they were saying, oh, in our Spiritist Center, we are alone. So there's no one to exchange ideas. It seems like we are not like a group, organized, a community. There's no community to exchange ideas or develop any kind of activity. So they were so pleased to know about the event, and they are coming for the first time. They're in Florida, actually. So I think this is really special.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love that. So in, like, I think Maria was mentioning before, there's a lot of material that we fit into 3 days, 2.5 days. How, in the planning phases, how do you find a way to combine Spiritism, personal develop, team building, connections? How do you find a way to combine all that into a few days?
That is really challenging. We first start with an idea. We just we get together after. Well, for nowadays, before the event ends, the young adults, they come to us and say, hey, I have an idea for next year. So it's not that hard anymore. But so we hear a lot of feedback already right after the event. And so the ideas start to, come up. And so we start with a main theme, and then we follow mostly what we did last year, but always improving. And what we hear the teens, we have a survey at the end of the event each year, and we hear what they are looking for. We hear their needs. And then we try to improve in that sense. And it's really challenging to put everything together. That's why we work as a team. So Saturdays, we like to set the tone for the event. Then once we have the main theme, we work some interactive activities and with collaboration, but always focusing on the main theme. So that main theme will do the rest. So when we do arts, is also based on the main theme, and everything we do after that, the closing activities, everything goes around circle and comes back to the main theme. And we try to balance indoors, outdoors, like reflexive activities and debriefing with movement. So that is never a dual time that people like, ugh, you know. But
Yeah.
so they're always looking forward the next activity.
And I think one thing to highlight is that it may appear that we are having fun or just doing an interactive activity or a team building activity, but in reality, underneath, it's all Spiritism and the gospel. You may not think it is, but it is, because there is no way that you can learn anything without feeling it. And I think the whole purpose of the activity is that you feel, then you can talk about. It's very like you just can't possibly understand something without having something to, a hook to the subject. So all the activities, we had people thinking or making comments that perhaps, well, you didn't study that much. No, we didn't. But all that we were doing is like based on a topic, a Spiritist topic, gospel topic. So everything is that way, interactive. That's how we like to build it, and I think everyone enjoys as well.
Yeah, there's not there's always an intention when we create an activity. We create with intention. It's not just, and that is intention is not just for fun. Fun is part of it, but there's always some learning behind. So the intention is to connect, but to connect to ourselves, to each other, and with God.
Yeah, I think one example that comes to mind is I remember last year we had an activity about the Spiritist goggles of looking at things through a Spiritist lens. And it was, again, kind of a moment where they could be silly, and we gave them all these heart-shaped glasses, and they were all colorful, and everyone was being silly wearing their glasses. But in the end, they remembered that to their core, and they keep saying, like, to their friends, oh, put on your Spiritist glasses. And they kept referring to it. So something that seems like a fun, playful moment, that's what helps them remember it more. And so that's what's so, special about the programs that we have, is that it's something fun and dynamic, but that they'll remember and take away with them when they most need it. And I don't know, Vicky and Maria, if you could give us some examples of themes that we've had in the past.
Yeah, definitely. I will say this is not my favorite retreat shirt, but it's one of them. I put on the Rise Up and Raise. So that was one of the themes. And I mean, like Chinea said, yeah, we are working on a overall theme for 3 days. And every time we do, you would think like how can you do that all weekend? Well, because you're sprinkling fun in there, you're sprinkling group activities, outdoor, indoor, all this stuff. And yeah, I remember this year, the creative workshops being really cool. We had the song group write their own like song. I remember it being really good. Yeah, we've had some very good themes. And if I can also add to the previous question about the balance too, I was thinking about this, is that really the everything combined, Spiritism, and fun and personal development, everybody there is pre-screened, right? Like this whole event is a reward. So of course, everybody that's going has already been going to their center all year. Like Vicky said, they're working, they're fundraising for their own event. They're putting in so much work. Their parents are putting in so much work, chipping in, driving them. And at the end of the day, we are not rewarding their hard work with more work. We're taking them out of the classroom into the woods, no phones, and they're having a blast. And they come back every year. No one is complaining. Like, you know, so everything is absolutely all combined, all balanced. Everything we do, we're learning in any activity, in a circle, with our spiritist goggles, when we're singing. It's, yeah, the balance is there. And Nadia said that, you know, some people have, I guess, had a problem with, well, you guys aren't studying much. But you're right, we're not in the classroom. You can also learn outside of the classroom. And I think the only people that see a problem with it, they don't work with teenagers. So we get us, and you guys, Chinia and Nadia, get us. So I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, thank you so much. And so I'd like to turn over, Vicky, we can start with you. What has been your favorite moment, your favorite memory of all the youth retreats you've participated in, and how has that impacted your life?
So many options to pick from, starting with sharing a dorm with Bia. Truly a highlight, because I said it sort of in a joking tone, but for me, like, that was such a special moment, because I may not be 21 or 22 anymore, but I do also struggle with that aspect of finding people close to my age in which I can build a community. Thankfully, now my center is getting a few more, and so there's a couple more of us. But it was the first time really that I had people close to my age who were also spiritists, and some of them were also educators. And so, like, that's three things in common that we had that really, like, solidified it. So for me, that was one. I think another is, like, I always really love seeing what happens after the workshops, all of the things that the kids bring, whether it's the performance, the dance performances, the songs, the art that gets created. Like, it's really an amazing moment to kind of see everybody's, like, self-expression in different forms. And I will say the other one that, like, came to mind for me was, this was last year at the last retreat. And I'm not picking this because it was like the activity that I was coordinating, but it really stuck out to me as a really, like, fun moment. So basically we were all in a circle, and people had to tell me things that they shared in common. And I was running around with, like, a rope. And basically the whole point was finding common connections with so many people. And at the end of the day, we had, like, a huge blow up globe, and those ropes were kind of like holding the world up. And it was really symbolic and, like, visually representing of how, like, one, we are so interconnected, whether we think so or not. Whether you're looking at the person across from you and you're like, I have nothing in common with that person, yet you do. You might have one little thing or one thing here, and, like, all of these different commonalities that put you together with other people. And those connections are really what's building this community, this world that we live in. And so it was really, like, cool representation, and, like, at least for me, it was a really fun experience, and I think they really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, those are great. I love those. Chania, do you want to share your favorite memory?
It's so hard. I think the whole process. I think so. We start planning actually right the day after, but we start meeting for the first like documentations, and to set up all, to decide where we're going the next year in September. So Maria knows because her mom meets with us, and I think every time we meet, also not just the event itself, but the behind the scenes and everything together, it's so precious and it's so powerful. So before the event happens, there's so many connections made with so many spiritist group, with so many in so many states and other countries, and everybody, comes in with their ideas, and we receive it, and we develop or we expand. So these also are special to me, and our families get to live this moment, and with us they share this moment, and they help us with materials, with ideas. But the event itself, it's I think the last one is always the best one, I guess. And because we see it growing, and one thing I notice, that not only the teens need this, but we adults need it too. As Vicky said, there's a gap for the young adults, but there's also a gap for us educators, because there we see each other, although everybody's work is responsible for their groups, but we are together and we enjoy, even like working. It's so enjoyable that we don't feel like we're working. We walk miles. We don't sleep many hours. We don't eat a full meal, but it's so rewarding. It's hard to say which one is special. I do remember forever, is dear to my heart, the one that we actually slept in the woods with no tents. Was like woods. Above us was the sky. So, and that was so special because there was nothing, just ourselves and God. And we had everything. We didn't need anything else. That is one that I always remember. But every others were as good as that one.
Tininha kind of stole one of my, I'm not going to make it too long because every event seems to be the best event. And it seems like, oh, it can't be better than the last one. So it's just even hard. And I think like Tininha said, it's just like the work behind the scenes. But the most beautiful thing is like when we are leaving and we see all the people that seems like I don't want to leave. I think there's no better feeling than people wanting to be together. And this is like all across 13 to whatever the oldest age is there. Everybody wants to stay together. So I think that's the feeling of, community, of love, of friendship. It's just so great that it's palpable. So for me,
and the chaperones, we also don't want to leave either.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we all experience that same feeling.
Yeah, I think seeing all that hard work that we work to plan this event, there, like you said, it's a team with so many people, but then seeing it all come together, seeing everyone having fun and having fun ourselves, I definitely love that. Maria, what about you? What's your favorite memory?
Yes, absolutely. One of I didn't know it at the time, but the memory I go back to every single year, my brother and I talk about this all the time, was 2016, my first retreat. One of the team building activities from the camp staff was a low ropes thing. And Bia, you were there too. We had to go through a tire. We could not touch the tire. We had to go through the middle of a tire. And it was like so crazy. Like imagine, again, some of these people were meeting for the first time. And then now you're all picking each other up and putting them through a tire. And like they're standing up tall, up straight with their arms by their side. And you're trying to feed them into that tire. It was so fun. And I think about that one all the time because it was like, you just got here and okay, now go do this very intimate, really, activity with everybody. And again, everybody's picking you up, they're throwing you in the tire. And it was just so crazy, but so fun. I think about that one all the time. Like first year, best year. And but maybe also because I was like young, so of course it was fun. But I would still have a blast if I did that today. But like if it was for my favorite moment every year, I think it would be kind of what Vicky said, seeing the presentations after of the art workshops, my favorite one so far was 2022. The theme was We Are One, and the facilitators of that activity were my brother, actually, and Vanessa from New York. And the kids all created this like beautiful globe, and they made hands all around it. And like, it's so, I could cry. It was so beautiful, like seeing, wow. And even if someone just sat there and scribbled like a little red patch the entire time, they all came together and made this beautiful thing. So my favorite part every year is to see what it comes out to, what everybody creates, the outcome, really.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, there's so many amazing memories. It's making me super excited for the one coming up this year. For all of you that don't know, this event happens every year on Memorial Day weekend, because that's an opportunity that we have that has the an extra third day. So it's always that weekend. Mark your calendars for future years to come. But with the upcoming retreat, I would love if you could all give something that you're excited for, maybe a little spoiler alert for those watching of what might come this year.
Want to go first, Nadia? Spoiler alert, or Vicky?
Do you want me to? I can kick it off.
Yes. Sure.
I am so excited for one, seeing all of you back in person. Second of all, this is the biggest group that I've ever taken. And I'm so excited that my class has grown and that like they're so excited about going. And I will say I really like this year's overall theme. I think it's a really great one, and I think it's like so important in today's time. That's
awesome. Love it.
I am very excited for every year. I am always so excited to see the new people, like the new kids, be it the 13-year-olds, the 16-year-olds, the first timers. You know, this year we have a lot of people, like Bia said, in their 20s, that some of them are their first time too. For me, every year, I am always so excited to see what the newbies think, how they're going to do, because I love this event. And even if I was not there, I would be like, Chininga, give me an update, play by play. I told my mom, if I'm ever not there, hourly updates. I want to know how everybody's doing. Like, I just love being there. I could be sitting back. I just want to be there.
Yeah, totally. And I think for us, right, it's an event that we all love and is so near and dear to our hearts. Sometimes it's hard for that to come across. And so, but when someone comes and you can show them that and you see them enjoying it the way that you enjoy it, I love that moment too.
And I'm excited for their excitement.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Well, so this year is going to be our 10th year. No, Chinia, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, just like saying, like, this is special. So it's our 10th year.
It is exciting.
And we are over 100 people.
Yes, so, over 100 people, which is, wow, right? Starting with 10 years ago, starting with a group of like 15 teens and now getting to over 100. I think it's 130 total.
Yes.
130.
Yeah. And this year, I'm so excited to see how we're going to develop the main theme. And we're going to be talking about the power of the soul. And so each Spiritist Center is facilitating an activity. And I'm so excited to see how they're so creative, and I want to so excited to see this happening like live, because I've seen the program, but it seems so amazing, and each person brings their own the light and the joy to this event, and that is really exciting to see happening.
Actually, I don't know if this would be one of the first that we have the most diversity, let's say, because we always have like other Spiritist centers developing like this or that. But I think I think it's every Spiritist center almost that is
Bring
coming.
something. Yeah.
Like, so they are having their own activities. So there's going to be like a blend. Going to be a lot of emotion, different activities, because it's different point of views coming from different places. So I think, so it's not one mind planning. It's just like many minds. Therefore, to go through the whole, how to say, journey, it's just, I'm just imagining it's going to be really interesting and
Yeah.
rich.
I'm so excited for that. Maybe Chinia, can you end us off in telling people who maybe have never heard about this before, how can they stay tuned and get involved in future years' retreats to come?
So this event is hosted by the Allan Kardec Spiritist Center in Denver. You can reach out to us or even the US Spiritist Federation. We do have Bia that represent us, and you can also email us or contact us, and to understand how this happened, we'll be happy to send you all the information. And one thing it is needed to be part of this event is belong to a Spiritist Center. So you are part of a Spiritist Center, or you don't need to be a teenager. You can be a young adult, or even the educators. If you are this youth group coordinator or the Department of the Family and Children's coordinator, then you can join us bringing your youth group. We say that people love this event. They say, oh, I want to be part of it. And it's actually for teens and young adults. The adults, the older adults, come to support this event. So, but it's not made for us. It's made for teens, by the teens, and is tailored for them. So we don't want this to become an event for adults. So we only allow the adults to come. They're either Spiritist educators, or they come with a specific role, like as security or as a nurse, or we have special needs young adults or teens that comes with their parents, the mom or the dad. If they are they can sleep by themselves in a dorm. Like we have a male teenager that comes with their mom, but he's independent enough to sleep, to camp out, right? We unfortunately we don't have staff to work with people with disability that need more attention. But if you do have any disability, but you also independent, you can come and join us. And in that sense, we allowed parents to come if they need support. Other than that, it's just the educators or people there, doing some specific role, like photographer, the audio and sound system, and the nurse and security team, and people that really we need to be there to keep us safe and to make sure that everyone is healthy and safe. So, reach out to us, and we'll be so happy to guide you through what you need, and also to explain how the fundraisers, so many ideas of fundraisers, because there is a cost for this trip, but you can help your teens and your Spiritist group to raise some money, and that won't cost you that much, right, Vicky? At the end, it's almost nothing, but they do enjoy fundraising.
Thank you so much. Yeah, definitely. If you haven't heard of the retreat before, definitely reach out to us. I would love to see, this event continues to grow, and love to see more Spiritist centers, more states getting involved. We also do have participation from Canada, which has been a great addition as well. And so thank you all for being here today, for sharing about this event that we all love so much and spreading the word. I can't wait for this upcoming retreat in just a few weeks. I can't believe it. And again, please, if you're interested in going in future years, definitely reach out to us and we'll get you connected and get you the information you need.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much again for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for the
Thank
invite,
you.
Bia.
Thank
you
you.
all.